What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven here with your afternoon snap, and here finally with the grand finals of this season's Snap Wars League. And it has been a long journey to get here. You can take a look at any of these videos to see that process. But today we are in the finals up against Zephyr, and as the title and thumbnail of this video implies, it is going to be a Cerebro face-off. Cerebro 2 versus Cerebro 3. I've been having a ton of fun playing Cerebro 3 recently, and I did not realize this, but Zephyr is kind of a Cerebro 2 one-trick. So we are going to wind up playing these decks for all three. It is a best of three conquest match here, and let's see which Cerebro deck comes out on top. I'm doing a giveaway for PAX bundles. Stick around till the end of the video to find out how you can win. We are going to at least start off with Cerebro 3 again in this video. It has done a lot of work to get me to this point, so we'll see if it can take it home. This is going to be a best of three conquest matches though, and we will be able to change our deck in between these matches, so could be a lot of different decks that we'll see in this video compared to the last one. Murder World and Rickety Bridge, and I draw my Killmonger as if we needed to destroy more cards. I have not drawn a 2-drop. Look at this. The the first section of the deck is fully cloaked here, and Muir Island, not a great third location. So we could throw a Jeff here and then next turn start playing to Murder World. But I will say I don't love it. We do get to play Luke Cage to Muir Island on turn 6. But it's a little sketchy regardless. We're going to play to the bridge this turn, which probably is a pretty big indicator considering, you just play Jeff to Muir Island every time there. But what can you do? Now I think we play Negasonic here and potentially move Jeff in. One thing that we do also have access to is Juggernaut on the final turn to move cards into the bridge. I think because of that, we're not retreating here, and we are actually just battling for Prio, and we're going to try some funky stuff with Cosmo and Juggernaut potentially to get him. Maybe a miscalculation here. This is Nico on Change the Location. It is Cerebro 2 versus Cerebro 3, and White Hot Room is the location for my opponent here. Now, unfortunately, we cannot fill the White Hot Room this turn. So this just got really, really silly. We have Prio. It's a random 50-50. We happen to grab it. So we could jug them into Rickety Bridge, but then they just have a bunch of energy for the final turn. Honestly, it seems pretty terrible for us to do anything that isn't just like, at least starting with Cerebro here. Let's run out the Cerebro. We know what they're up to. They are going to know what we're up to at this point, but now we could jug them out of Murder World and into Rickety Bridge. And at that point, it's actually looking a little spicy here. Because if we kill all of their cards in the bridge, this could actually just be fine. We have Prio. I think we can move 3 cards to the bridge here and feel pretty dang good about this. The next question is, do we Nico or do we Killmonger to kill Nico? Or do we like Mystique in case they play enough cards that Cerebro survives? I don't think that they play enough cards that Cerebro survives. I don't want to snap here because I think that'll, well, they do have 3 extra energy. So we do have to decide what is the most points. Like, do we ever Mystique Juggernaut? I guess that's just the same as playing Killmonger. Because we're always saying, okay, we're going to win this location. And we're going to put 18 points here, so this just kills Nico on top of that. All right, I think this is a pretty reasonable play to grab 4 cubes here. They did put 1 card into Rickety Bridge just to battle for it, but unless they have a Storm into Rickety Bridge, I think we might have got them. That is not a Storm. That is not a Storm. That might be. That might be a Storm, though. But, it's a dang Storm. Okay. Unfortunate. And then they're going to Lasher one of my cards away, but they've already won the game. And with that, they take me for 4 cubes, but now we have a decent handle on exactly what we were dealing with here. Yeah, that Storm was a bit of a bummer. Could I have played Juggernaut and then Cosmo'd the flooded location? You know what? If this was game 2, game 3, I might have thought of that. Game 1, my brain wasn't on. I've been playing Grand Arena all week. Excuses. But unfortunately, that is, I think, going to be a little bit awkward now. I think we just snapped to Oscorp Tower. They're going to have to storm this location, or we're giving them a Jeff. They're just going to retreat. Okay. We know exactly what we're dealing with, though. I've got Luke Cage to answer their Lasher, so that's not a big problem. The biggest problem is them just, like, outpowering me by having more cards on the board. But if we both fill a location, then I come out on top. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And the snaps are fairly easy here. They may have access to Red Guardian. We're going to start trying to fill up on Reed's Lab. +1 energy for each turn. Your side here is full. Okay, so yeah, we just want to fill up Reed's Lab as soon as possible here. Possibly going for a Killmonger into this location this turn. Monster Island. Okay. Bodes somewhat well for me, though with Captain Carter, they could potentially still get out of this jam. I think we play a Negasonic and we snap. I think we just start pressuring them with these snaps. And the fact that they're playing a bunch of 2s, I'm playing a bunch of 3s. At some point, that's got to be all right for me, right? Okay, we also, Negasonic, if we hit a Brood here, yeah, it's not the best. I was thinking maybe we'd hit a Captain Carter, but at the very least, we're not letting them fill Reed's Lab, so that is kind of spicy regardless. They can put 8 points here. This is 10. So this seems good, and we're continuing to not let them fill this location just to be annoying, really, more than anything else. But this is a good play this turn. Kill their Echo and then fill it myself with Bast. This is a 4-drop. No, it's probably just another 3-drop here. Could be a Cerebro, could be a Luke Cage. All right, we're going to get the extra energy this turn. Do we have anything to do with it? Not really. Not really. I mean, I think we probably... They've already seen Jug. They've already seen Cerebro. We probably just run out both of those cards, and the next turn we can play Sentinel Gorgon, Luke Cage, which is a fine point spread. And we probably play both cards to this location, just so that way if they have a Red Guardian, it's a 50-50, even though we're not leaning super hard on this Cerebro to begin with. All right, what do they go for here? What do they have in Reed's Lab? Oh, they're just filling it up for the extra energy next turn, sure. Captain Carter is going to tie it up, actually. It's kind of cute. So this location's always a tie now. Could Scarlet Witch for some funk? Sure. I don't know if I really want to reveal Scarlet Witch, but I'm not sure that it matters too much. If they 50-50 a Red Guardian here, I don't know if that matters too much. Just kind of banking on the idea that my cards are natively bigger. They get to play more cards, though, because their cards are cheaper. They could have Mr. Sinister this turn. They cannot have Nico this game, or Echo. They've played both of those. They might have Nightcrawler, but probably not. But I think I am still running this here. Okay, cool. All right, only down 1 cube despite a pretty devastating 4 cube loss to start it off. And we'll see what we get into now in round 4. We've got the Bro. Mojo World's a fine location. Holding on to Scarlet Witch for the Stormed location is also an interesting maneuver. We're just going to start with a Sentinel into Mojo World. That's pretty straightforward. And that gets goosed. So one thing that we could kind of do to mess with them, if this is a location that they'd want to storm, we could Juggernaut them. Well, don't necessarily want to do that now. We could Juggernaut them into Muir Island. That also is like pretty fun, pretty troll. And we can play Cerebro Mystique into this location. We can play one of them into this location on turn 4. Luke Cage there on turn 5. The energy probably doesn't work out unless I could play Cerebro this turn, but I don't want it to get Red Guardianed, so I'm going to try to leave that to the end. Let's see if we can Juggernaut them into Muir Island here. That could be spicy. Nice. Okay, so that messes up all of their Cerebro plans. They are now winning Muir Island, and it's going to be pretty tough for them to win both of the other 2 locations at this point. Like I said, we can play Cerebro here, but then it's a very juicy Red Guardian target, so I am not super interested. I think we just ignore this at this point, though. I mean, dropping Scarlet Witch there is kind of free. We're going to play Sentinel and Gorgon this turn, though, I think. And we are going to take priority, but I think we'll play Cerebro Mystique both into Muir Island on the final turn, so it shouldn't matter. This is probably not a storm. This could be Captain Carter here. Yeah. And I don't fully know the interaction with Captain Carter, but I also don't have to care about it because we're fine already. We have I'm just thinking about this Negasonic Teenage Warhead. They can't pump up the Captain Carter with Cerebro, is what I was getting at. Now, Negasonic here is like pretty good, but then it kind of commits me to Cerebro, Mystique, and Lake Hellas. And they should probably battle for one of these locations. Okay, sure. I feel like they have to battle for Mojo World. I don't know how they could battle for Lake Hellas at this point. Okay, that's a Red Guardian. That's how they're going to attempt to do it, and we're going to take that out. Oh, they're going to Shadow King over in Muir Island. All right, cute effort, and now I think we just finish off with a Cerebro and a Mystique. It's actually... So if we do this, this is 18 points here, and a lot of points here. Yeah, let's just go Cerebro plus Mystique. That seems good. They've revealed Red Guardian at this point, and they still have one unknown card in their deck. It could be a big one. It could be Mr. Sinister. It could be... By a big one, I kind of mean like Iron Man. I don't know if Cerebro 2 always plays Mystique, though I feel like it's fairly straightforward to just put them on Mystique. It could also be Blue Marvel. That's a card that this deck will sometimes mess around with. But we have finally gained a cube lead, so I feel pretty dang good about that. And I do not draw a 2-drop, so I feel pretty bad about that. But what you gonna do? All right, they're gonna take Prio here with a Lasher, which we will have to feed, though not yet. We can put off feeding that Lasher momentarily here. And you can Red Guardian and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I don't think there's anything I can do to care about that. I want to leave the Killmonger for another second, though. Yeah, it doesn't look great because I can only play one card this turn as well. So my curve is just really expensive. Next turn I get to play Scarlet Witch plus a 3, and then Grand Central will give us a card for free, which does kind of make me want to play Cerebro alongside this next turn. This could be Captain Carter Brood for like a pretty big location. At that point we just make them commit to it. Hope that my Negasonic slips into the Great Web. Sure. Alright, that's Captain Carter, a Red Guardian naked, and then an Echo, which we are actually going to be able to tag here. So this worked out pretty nicely for us. Yeah, I just don't think I'm retreating when I have my Cerebro, but yeah, they've already used their Red Guardian, so this all seems really good for me here. Now I think I play Sentinel. I could see playing this in any location, really. But I guess I'll play it here, and then I'm going to play Cerebro, so that way if Grand Central hits Mystique, we're good. If Grand Central hits Scarlet Witch and really messes with me, it's awkward. But I think that this gives me a decent amount of reasonable plays. All right, that's going to be stormed out now, which is good for them, bad for me. Then they finish off with a Goose here. Great Web plus, well, just Great Web is going to make this final turn pretty interesting regardless of how you slice it. Lasher onto Cerebro is actually ideal for me. We have Prio. So we could, I mean, we've got Negasonic over here, and we could jug them over here. This looks pretty dang good, to be totally honest. Struggling to figure out how this wouldn't work out. I guess how this wouldn't work out, Juggernaut plus Negasonic is not always a combo, because their cards can actually survive this. But looks great to me. Let's see what they've got. They do play into the Negasonic Teenage Warhead, though. That's interesting. They do not play into the flooded location, as Juggernaut's going to knock them out of there into Lemuria. Oh, and then Brood. Okay, so they get one Broodling, so not that much value. And then Cerebro, not that much value, but what is going to move? I don't think it matters. Lasher takes out my Cerebro, which does not matter, and then my Sentinel moves in. Oh, wait, it does matter. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Crazy close here. Wow. So I had a 2 out of like literally anything else getting pulled, I'm fine. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 out of 5 to lose that. And now I've got to win the next 3 games because I lost a 20%er. That's a bummer. That is a big bummer. All right, well, got to win the next 3. I do still feel favored in this matchup. 3 versus 2. Bigger number. I think we should be able to get it done. If not, it was still a pretty good run here. And I am not too upset about how all of this played out. Big house means nothing to me. The vault means nothing to me. They could try to lock down this location too. So I almost do kind of want to play blind, but we're just going to play Sentinel into vault here. No 2 from them. This turn, possibly Jug. Oh, Murder World. I could knock them into Murder World. I could also just Negasonic with Prio into the vault. That feels pretty solid as well. Let's start there and see what happens. I think they would reasonably play to one of these 2 locations this turn. It's a 50-50 that Negasonic gets some pretty good value here. Next turn we have Sentinel Gorgon, then we have Jug. Nice. I could have also taken the 50-50 and tried to knock all of the Broods into Murder World. Maybe that was a better play, just because Jug is not going to get nearly as good of value going forward. And I'm also tempted to Bast here. just to pump up the mystique, even though I'm not super inclined to go for it. They have yet to see my Luke Cage, actually. So kind of hanging on to that as a bit of an ace in the hole. I don't know why it's showing 2 cards unknown here. That's interesting. All right. Before the vault closes, I think we probably play Sentinel Cerebro this turn, and then we can finish off with a Mystique and a Luke Cage, and I'm having trouble figuring out how that could be bad. Yeah. Small shot, we could even Luke Cage plus Juggernaut. Just don't Luke into Echo, and we're good. But yeah, this looks great to me so far. What have they got for us? Might not even have to reveal the Luke Cage here yet. Sure, I do not have to reveal the Luke Cage here yet. If they are going to Shadow King up my Negasonic, I feel pretty fantastic about that. Killmonger onto Echo could be a better play at that point. Yeah, I think I always just do this now. I mean, I think all of these plays are winning. I don't think it matters. And now I just have to win the next 2. All right, all right. They can't play and activate a Lasher all on the final turn. They do have one card that we don't know about. And it could be a spicy one, for sure, right? That really gets me. Are we going to learn about their new card here? Could it be Rogue? That would be pretty deep. I don't expect to see a Rogue. Cerebro, not going to be enough in the big house. Goose plus Nico, not going to be enough in Murder World. We snag a Cosmic Victory. If only that counted for all 3 victories right there. But unfortunately, we got to play 2 more games. Man, I lost a 1 in 5 on the Great Web. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. But we're going to battle back here. We've battled back against worse, for sure, for sure. I will also be offering this opponent a full run back. I don't think that they will take me up on the offer, but I will give them the opportunity to grind out Cerebro 2 against Cerebro 3. Like I said, I don't think they're going to bite on that one, though. Let's play a Sentinel here. And now what do we have? We've got Danger Room as location number 3. Could curve out with the Juggernaut. Honestly, I've got enough 2s here that I think I'm going to be fine curve out-wise. So I think we just play a Gorgon. Next turn, we've got Jeff plus Sentinel. Brood goes well into the Danger Room for them. Potentially, though they kind of want to play Brood into Negasonic, to be totally honest. We don't have the opportunity to retreat, so we really need to make these cards go far. We might even have to use Scarlet Witch to, like, mess up a Cerebro strategy. All right, there's Lasher, there's Storm. I think I might be Scarlet Witching over in the flooded location. Might also, well, not now, but eventually playing Bast into this Lasher so that that doesn't hit as hard. But yeah, I think this turn we're doing this. We have not shown them our Scarlet Witch yet, though. I think it's a fairly straightforward card for me to be playing, and maybe it generates some interesting RNG here. I'm hoping for either something that just, like, makes their Cerebro 2 strategy bust, since I haven't drawn Cerebro, or I'm hoping for the Abby to draw a card, because I have exactly 2 cards here, though so do they. Okay. So the Abbey not as fruitful for us here potentially, but we wind up getting Madripoor. So they are going to wind up pumping up their Red Guardian and Storm at the end of each turn, and we will not. So it worked out. It worked out fine. Now I think we play Killmonger Jeff to create some room over here. We need to be able to juggernaut them. And I think they're going to play Captain Carter here this turn. Well, I don't think that they're going to do that. That's just a good play against me. But let's stick with this for now. If they battle for Prio with Captain Carter plus the 2-drop, which I haven't seen them play, but they're still missing a card from my perspective. Okay, Shadow King, sure, gonna even out my Sentinel and Scarlet Witch, but it will still send both of these 2 cards up at the end of turn, so short-term solution, and we have to knock them into Madripoor now. I think that's the idea. Knock them into Madripoor. I've got 9 points to their 6 here. So that's just a win. They could get me down to 7, but then it's still 7-6. So we still win Lemuria with this. So I suppose we're Cosmoing over in Savage Land to prevent, like, their biggest hits. Okay. Just need to knock them into Madripoor. Actually, I think with that, I think we've won. I think they win Madripoor, and we win this location. 7-6, right? Who baby? Who baby? All right. Got to win one more game. We are both down to 1 cube a pop here. We've battled back. After, the thing is, like, after this battle back, no way my opponent agrees to a Cerebro 3 versus Cerebro 2 run back. What is their final card? I think it's Mr. Sinister, but it could be Mysterio. We really have no clue. And I don't know. I hope we don't find out. I'm going to play around both, I suppose, because we have to. They potentially just grabbed a Luke Cage from us. We might grab a Cerebro, though. No, we grab a Captain Carter, which is fine if we hit a Bast. The big upside that they have, well, we have Gorgon, which is nice. The big upside that they have, though, is that they understand how Captain Carter and Cerebro works, where I, like, I'm not totally confident that I understand the interaction between these 2 cards, if I'm being honest here. Would love a Bast, ooh, especially with these nasty locations. We're just going to Negasonic here. They'll probably storm one of these 2 locations, at which point we'll Scarlet Witch it, right? Okay. Or we can Negasonic them. It's their Captain Carter. Booyah! Okay. So now we can play Jeff, which works really well with Captain Carter later. We're going to be playing Scarlet Witch first here. Like with Prio, I mean. But we're going to play this into Vibranium Mines. If we hit like a really big location, then we just slam Captain Carter there and we don't worry about the fact that it messed up our Cerebro. This could be a Brood from them. What do we get here? We get Camelot. Okay. So I think we can win a location with Captain Carter, and then we can win a location with Juggernaut on the final turn. I think that's the plan. Do I need to move in Jeff? No. I think we can potentially win this location with just Juggernaut. Oh, but they are going to play here this turn, so we'll probably need to move Jeff over here. But we should still have Prio here. So I think this is fine. All right. Lasher. Lasher's actually a little bit of a bummer. And I actually find a Mystique, which is currently on Captain Carter, but would provide 0 power to this location. So if they have a Cerebro, this is not going to be able to win it. because they can still get additional points here. They can get up to 10 with a Cerebro. I think if they have a Cerebro, they have it, and there's literally nothing I can do. If they don't have it, I win. Yep. All right, GG's, friend. That could be a Cerebro. Now they have a Cosmic Victory if they have a Cerebro. So let's see. Yeah, they've got it. Unfortunate. Dang! Dang. Nothing we could do there, though. We just didn't have enough points. And not quite a Cosmic Victory, but they are unfortunately going to get us. If only we could have stolen this Cerebro with White Palace. We made a play for Camelot. I'm not upset by it. Last turn, we could have played like Juggernaut to knock their cards into Camelot and then battled for the other 2 locations. Was that a better play? Huh. If I had done that, then they win Camelot. Then maybe here I could beat them 9-8. And here I could go for like, yeah, another 9-8. Huh, wow. Okay, maybe I did have another line, but that's the one I found for this game. So we unfortunately are down a match. So we do kind of have one social bargaining chip on our side here, and that's the fact that we lost the first match. So Eli was willing to agree to an exact rematch here, and we'll give him a fist bump for that. The sandbar, not great for Sentinel, but I feel confident. Cerebro 3 into Cerebro 2. Nico, though, I think we're about ready to run from this one. Might have to... but then I draw my Cerebro. So I'm not sure. All right, we'll hang in it for now, then. And I think we have both actually successfully hidden one card each from each other. I believe I have shown him the Gorgon, in that final match. And he's definitely seen everything else, but I don't think he has yet to see the Luke Cage, and then I have yet to see either the Mysterio or the Mr. Sinister, one of those two. Might be playing a 3-cost Sentinel this turn, or a Negasonic. Yeah, that's fair. Killmonger can still blow up Nico here, so I like that. We're going to save Killmonger for as long as we can, though. And I'm just going to play Negasonic. We are going to accept this snap. Okay, they do wind up playing Here's as a Captain Carter. There's a Red Guardian on a Sentinel. Not a big deal. Maybe they will Shadow King it for us again here. We do find the Bast. That is really good. Do have to watch out for Shadow King post-Bast. But I'm not going to stress about that here. I think we're just going to play a... Well, I could go Killmonger into Bast just to keep this 1 point alive. Especially with New York, 1 point could be relevant in this game. So let's do this. Sure. This is fun. Next turn, we have Gorgon plus Cerebro. They've used up their Red Guardian again. And then, final turn, we can finally reveal the sweet, sweet Luke Cage that we've got. All right. Negasonic eats a Brood. And then, is this a Captain Carter? Tis an Echo. Tis an Echo. All right. Gorgon into Echo is totally fine. Don't care about that. From what we've seen, they've got nothing that I care to Gorgon, so I think we're just going to Cerebro over here, and then potentially Mystique. It's a 50-50 where we need to drop the Mystique because of Echo. Could even play the Cerebro into New York this turn, just so that way we've got 2 spots in the sandbar to go Mystique plus Luke Cage. Sure. Yeah, I don't care about the ability on Gorgon, but I do really care about it on Cerebro and Luke Cage and Mystique. Captain Carter coming in now. We'll pretend that was Echo Blindness. Now, if we find the Mystique, do we play it? Well, it looks like we don't have to make that decision. We can play Juggernaut with priority. I mean, Juggernaut with priority just wins this location, right? The thing is, Cerebro with 4 cards, Cerebro 2 with 4 cards could beat me here. So there's a part of me... Like, if I don't put this Juggernaut here, it could actually be a little bit awkward. Huh. And if I move everything, then I might lose to some Captain Carter shenanigans that I don't quite understand. So I think I awkwardly want to do this. Plays around Echo. I could move some cards over into New York. I think they're going to move cards into New York, which kind of makes me want to just jug over into Sandbar, but this is what I'm going to go for. Okay. I think this always wins then. It's 13. And is this the Mystique finally? It is finally the Mystique. But this isn't enough, right? It's close. 24-24. Oh, and they beat me off differential. Wow. Wow. All right. Well, that's a really, really powerful use of Captain Carter to use it to pump up the Cerebro and the Mystique. And then they pump up themselves. Yeah. I still don't fully get how Captain Carter works because it's like a weird timing issue. But I'm just going to assume that I lose Captain Carter locations. And... yeah, that got me here. 24 a pop. Nothing I could have done about that. We both get to see our final card against each other. My Luke Cage and their Mystique here. But I think that both of us probably had an idea that those were the final cards. Bar Sinister. Okay, it's a spicy location. I can get some value from there with Jeff. They can get some value from there. Mostly just with, I mean, Nico. Really, that's their only cross-lane presence here. All right, and that's kind of an interesting one, too. Because if they Echo here, then it forces me to play my Cerebros here. But I can play Bastard Cerebro over into Bar Sinister. They might just play Echo into Bar Sinister, though, and try to get me with that one. Juggernaut does not work into Bar Sinister. All right, well, there goes my Jeff, and there goes their Nico. Huh. I'm kind of tempted to do this, though I don't know if I really am tempted to do that. Maybe we just do this now. Juggernaut into Bar Sinister seems like it could get me a lot of power, especially if I knock something into Isle of Silence here. But I'm not fully ready to commit to the snap. Am I ready to commit to the snap now? No, we hit the Brood again. It's best case scenario for them, I think. We can disable this. We'll just play it here, though. Who cares? Keep up the Prio battle going into the final turn. Next turn I play Sentinel, Luke Cage, Bast. Not incredibly exciting, but we're trying to win Isle of Silence and Bar Sinister with this angle. I think we've got to... well, let's see what happens. I think we're going to wind up Boomer snapping here, though. I think we're going to snap on the final turn with this Juggernaut. Yeah, they don't care about Luke. We could also turn off Bar Sinister here. We could do this in case they hit there. I think we actually Bast here. And then Scarlet. Then I've got access to Luke Cage plus Juggernaut. Now, here's the other thing. If they just play 2 cards here and then another card here, then we actually cannot Juggernaut them out of Bar Sinister. Ooh, Sinister London, eh? That's interesting. But I don't think it really does much. So this is what my play is. We juggernaut them out of Bar Sinister with this, and then make a bunch of Luke Cages. But literally, all they have to do is play a card here and a card here, and we cannot juggernaut them out. Is this worth a cube? I mean, they haven't snapped. They might not have it. Captain Carter's not going to win them Isle of Silence. Lasher is not going to win them Sinister London. I think we can stay in it for a cube. I think it's fine. If they got it, they got it. It's one extra cube just to make them have it. Let's see what they have. That is a little troubling to me that that's a 0, but that's also a 0, so I'm not going to read too much into it. They've got the Cerebro. Okay. Okay. Well, if we had the Cerebro, plus the Luke Cage, I guess it might have been a little bit tricky to do that, but we could have played them both into Bar Sinister to win this location and stop the Lasher from activating while playing around Echo. And then, yeah, Captain Carter doesn't do anything, but it is still 14 power, so yeah, we're going to grab a big loss on that one. What else could we have done? Surprised they didn't go Captain Carter, Cerebro into Bar Sinister. Yeah, I mean, the only other thing we could have done is retreated. But at this point, we are all in. Cerebro 3 is going to take down Cerebro 2. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. All right, Cloning Vats would love to draw my Gorgon. Would also love to draw my Cerebro. But it is possible that my luck has run out. There's my Cerebro, though. Negasonic is reasonable into Cloning Vats. Kills their cards that they're farming up copies of. I probably want my Bast before we start snapping here. They've got Goose, and now they also have Prio, which is pretty unfortunate, but they also have locked themselves out of Space Throne. I think we could snap to that. Okay, one cube. One cube, slowly clawing our way back into it. Not quite high stakes mode. This is going to be round 4. And then we will enter high stakes mode. Good tools here. What card is not appearing now? Can we figure it out? Does it matter? Storm. Storm is not appearing here. But we've seen it. We can give him a Gorgon. It's a little awkward, but okay, cool. Yeah, they need Storm in order to flip the Oscorp Tower. And it's like pretty low risk for us to just play Gorgon. Anyways, now we're in high stakes mode. They have 8 cubes to our 4. But we've got Cerebro and Mystique. Can we find a Bast? This hand was in dire need of a Bast, but we are going to crank it to 4 immediately here. Give my opponent no opportunity to retreat. The thing is, in a match like this, bad for me is bad for them. So either Cerebro works or it doesn't, but locations really don't matter from that point. And okay, they're going to steal a 3 power card, but we get to steal a 2 power card from them, and it's a Cerebro. Okay. Okay. They do get Prio here, so Negasonic might not be at its best. But we'll play our Cerebro and Mystique into Kunlun so that they are Red Guardian proofed. I think we just play Cerebro plus Mystique here and ride it out. Oh, that's a little awkward. So we have Prio right now, which means they could Red Guardian this. I think we actually just do this, and then on the final turn, we're going to Cerebro plus Mystique again. Sure. We also have to weave in a Luke Cage, but we literally have it all right now, so I'm not terribly worried. This is now Mojo World. That's going to hit Bast. Don't care. They could have a Shadow King for this Cerebro. But yeah, short of that, we are looking pretty good. So, did they steal a card this game? Yeah, they did. This was originally a White Palace. So we can make that a little bit more expensive and then play Cerebro. And then we're finishing off with Mystique plus Luke Cage both into Mini Lab. I think this is all going to be fine. They only have one Red Guardian. We now cannot Juggernaut them out of Mojo World, but I'm not super... I don't think that's like a huge necessity. Yeah, we are simply going to do... This is actually pretty spicy. I think it pumps the Cerebro back up, but it's not showing here. Huh. This is probably fine, though. If it doesn't work, it's still a whole bunch of points because we still have the ongoing to make these 12s. So this is 25, which beats their typical loadout. Actually, not their typical loadout. How'd they get 24s one game? I don't know, but this is fine. We're good with this. No way they can beat 3 Cerebros, right? Plus a Luke Cage. I think they're banking on that Lasher here. But even with a Mystique, that is going to give them 18. Oh, I guess, yeah, that's how they get 24. Right. Victory. I meant an 8 team, not 18. No, I meant 18, but there's, I'm used to my Cerebro numbers, not their Cerebro numbers. Anyways, 4 cubes a pop. We've tied it back up for this match, not for the whole series. If we win this match, then we've tied it up for the full series. Whew. Lot on the line here. Let me see, I think... Okay. We've got the Cerebro. These are good things. Stark Tower, yeah, it's going to be equally terrible for both of us, though I can Bast into Stark Tower, which is at least a little cute. What's location number 2 going to give us? Strange Academy, but this will activate and then this will activate, so it shouldn't be a big deal. We can Juggernaut them into Stark at some point. That is pretty juicy. Got the Luke for the Lash. I could see snapping on a Jug here. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's good. Turn 4, we can play Cerebro here. Turn 6, we can play Luke Cage here. Shadow King complicates some things, but honestly, this seems great. Let's see if they play around the Juggernaut and play nothing. They played a Stark Tower. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Oh, Muir Island. Strange Academy is going to make my cards go into Muir Island here regardless. Right. Right. Okay, we have to retool this then. Or should we be trying to make a Cerebro 5 game plan then? Shoot. Maybe. Maybe we're Cerebro 5ers now. That would mean Luke Cage into Muir Island right now. Let's play Negasonic here. Okay. Brood. Plus giving them another Brood. Huh. Okay. Killmonger's big over in Stark Tower. I don't really need Luke to land over there. think we're trying to grab the +2 here. And then the Killmonger on this stuff. And we'll see where this goes. This is a weird Cerebro 5 game. But we're hoping that these come over into Muir Island for us. All right, we take out their Shadow King. And we're actually going to frontline their Captain Carter. Which means we might be giving up on Stark Tower just because Captain Carter there sounds like a headache. Okay. I don't think we're giving up on Stark Tower anymore. And I kind of have to play Lasher to deal with Muir Island now. I'm sorry, Luke Cage to deal with Muir Island. If they play a Cerebro this turn, it's kind of the same thing. Their Cerebro can pump up their Captain Carter and these. I don't think Cerebro pumps up the Broodling. Or, I mean, I think it... maybe it does just pump up the Broodling? If it just bumps up the Broodling, then we do like this. This is a little all over the place. We have Prio. They could still Red Guardian us here. This is what I'm going to go for, though. Okay, they did not Red Guardian in Muir Island. So hopefully all of these numbers work out. We've got 8 here, and we're going to have another 8er over here. Okay, it's Brood plus Goose. I think we've done it. Yeah, Lasher's going to activate, but then Killmonger's going to get pumped up. And we take it in Muir Island and Strange Academy. Crazy, crazy match. Whew. Eli has agreed to one final Cerebro 3 versus Cerebro 2 showdown. And it's probably the title of this video today. We are going to find out which Cerebro deck is better here. Cerebro 2 or Cerebro 3. And I like Starbrand Crater reasonably. We can get 12 power here. I think we're going to snap. Again, like, I have the Cerebro. Bad locations are just as bad for them. And we are getting spicy with it here for at least 4 cubes off this first game. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. We're going to take Prio here. Ooh, Panopticon actually a little bit of an awkward location. So as much as I just wanted to slam into Starbrand Crater, go bam, bam, and then turn 4 play both of these for 11 points and then +1 energy there for the rest of the game, I still will. I still will. But it's a little tricky now that I cannot play a Sentinel into this center location, though they can't play Brood there. So, oh goodness gracious. Okay. So if they have Captain Carter, they can win. If we take Prio and play Negasonic, we can win. This can shut off Red Guardian, so it's pretty solid. I don't know what my 4th card here is, but I do believe we always play Cosmo. We have Prio. We want to get this down before they can Echo. Well, that's actually not true. They could Echo here. Storm. Okay. Well, that did nothing. Now we can freely Cerebro. Turn 5, so we can never play Mystique. They have well, yeah, they have a little bit of time to play Captain Carter. This could also really put them off if they try to Captain Carter right now. They can't play Nico into copy a card. This into... or this... could they play Lasher? Yeah, possibly. I don't want them to take Prio here, though. I think we'll just hope that a Lasher could miss. They'd have to play Lasher right now. They could play Carter plus Lasher, and then we Negasonic their final card. That's fine. Assuming this is... okay, that's their Cerebro. But we're going to blow up one of their 2 cards on the final turn. And I think that that just takes the cake. 18 to 10, right? Okay, yeah. It's going to be a retreat. Cool, cool, cool. Whew. That is a crazy way to start off this final match. For sure. For sure. Bast, Mystique, Killmonger. Alright, alright, alright. Ooh, Dark Dimension. That means that Killmonger might wind up destroying my Bast, but that is pretty good. That is pretty good. We'll hang on to the Bast for as long as we can, though. After turn 4, the winner here gets +1 max energy. Okay. Now we might run out the Killmonger earlier to lock up Sakaar Grand Prix. Ooh, and Cloning Vats. So... Gorgon is going to be pretty reasonable into Cloning Vats. If they have the Cerebro and we don't... might just be worth retreating. I think it is just worth retreating here. Because we are up 4 cubes right now. Let's just, I think if we just like play solid Marvel Snap and don't get risky, like they need to get risky right now. A 6 cube game benefits them, not us. We benefit from just playing 2 cube games back and forth a whole bunch. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to try to do here. Sentinel, let's go. They have got a Lasher, but we've got the Luke. Give me the Luke, give me the Luke. Interestingly, Luke can get Red Guardianed. They try to give me a rock with a Brood. That's a pretty big getcha. We've got Cerebro, Mystique, and Luke Cage. I think we snap as we drop a Cosmo here. They may just think it's like a Juggernaut and play into it and feel reasonable about that. Cosmo also protects my Cerebro. And I can protect my Mystique over here as well, since they can't get in here. Here we can Scarlet and throw it away, and then play a Sentinel here. Then next turn we can play Sentinel plus Cerebro, then finish off with Mystique plus potentially Luke Cage over an Eternity range. We don't need to play Luke Cage if we don't need it. Ooh, they can still echo me out. So we gave ourselves no way to deal with this flooded location other than just playing here right now. Now I want to play Cerebro and friends in here. And then this is actually also just an incredible play. Juggernaut, Sentinel. I don't even know if we need the Sentinel, but it could be a Brood here. But this could be pretty good in terms of like really limiting their potential on the final turn of the game to only being able to play 1 card plus activating Lasher. Just trying to figure out if I also want this Sentinel here, but I think that I do. Makes it 6 to 6. It means that probably playing both of these is pretty good. I think we're just going to do this for now. All right, it's Goose plus Cerebro. So they don't get to play a card on the final turn of the game. We can probably just freely snap here after we've done the math just to make sure that we can take this home. I think that we're just going to win in Flooded and Eternity range. Yeah. So they get to win with Lasher in Pet Mansion. I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm just going to play both of these. They can't have Jeff. These both go to the moon, and that's all we need to do. There's other plays with like Killmonger and stuff, but this always wins. Yeah. Okay. 2-cube game I'm fine with. I thought about snapping on the Juggernaut into the Flooded Storm location, but I think that's good enough. Flooding is a huge liability that I think now they are probably going to respect if they weren't already. That looks good. Again, like I'm kind of just fine playing these low cube games and not... Well, I'm snapping. Jeff is pretty free here. If they play Echo here this turn, it's a little bit awkward. Okay. I played Jeff in case this location's bad for us. Well, it's not going to be. I don't want a bunch of Sentinels, I don't think. Yeah, I'd kind of like to get the Cosmo out, but we have to also consider we might not be able to play into these Pits of Exile if we play too many Cerebros too soon. That's pretty silly. I also don't want to overdraw my hand. I guess I'll just do this turn. What do they have? Do they have an Echo for us? Oh, that is really going to fill their slots. It battles for Prio, which is potentially why they like it. Now, this kind of protects me up against a Red Guardian, so I also like that. And then I think I might just clear the Bast to make room again. It's pretty unlikely that their Echo... I mean, if their Echo wins a 50-50 and lands in the other Sinister London, then they have got me with that, but... Short of that, yeah, we're doing some good things, playing around a lot of terrible stuff here. And I think, well, we've already snapped. But now we just get to play Cerebro plus... Oh, that's kind of funny. No, we're just going to play Sentinel, Cerebro here, and then we finish off with Mystique, Luke Cage. They've got Nico on Storm. Okay. That means that we can play to the Flooded location next turn. Yeah, we always could. These are going to be 9 power 3s here. And I think this is going to be a retreat. If I had to imagine. That is a pretty dang powerful setup there for Cerebros. Oh, they're playing it out. They get to Shadow King the Cerebro in the Flooded location. But I don't even know if that works against a Luke Cage. I always forget all the weird Luke Cage interactions. But regardless, we've got 60 points in all 3 locations. And I think that's better than anything they can come up with here. Yeah. That is not quite gonna do it. So, Cerebro 3 is going to get it done. An incredible match here. Huge shout outs to Eli and Kingpin, who both allowed me to just run this deck back to back while they played their favorite deck. Eli was the winner of the 3rd league, so they will be promoting up to the 2nd league in Snap Wars next season. And Kingpin was the winner of the 2nd league. They will be promoting up to the 1st league. And we are the grand champion, both of the league portion of this season and of the tournament 5 playoff here. That is going to be it for me. I am probably going to play this deck in the 3rd Golden Gauntlet, the August qualifier for Golden Gauntlet Worlds coming up, because I've been having a ton of success with it. This video might be coming out after that event next weekend, but we recorded this at the end of the previous season. Anyways, that is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace. To enter into my giveaway, there are 3 things that you need to do. The first is subscribe to this YouTube channel. The second is leave a comment on any of my videos. This season, every comment will give you an additional entry into the giveaway. Limit 1 per video, but you can comment on all of the videos that I upload throughout this season. And the third thing that you have to do is join my Discord. And the reason that I need you to do that is so that way I can contact you if you win, because YouTube comments, you don't always get the notifications for things like that. So join my Discord, leave a comment on all of my videos, and subscribe for more Sweet Marvel Snap.